Good morning students. Today we are going to take a topic from the paper 4, that is 304. For the book reference, I would like you to suggest go for the book that is Industrial Hygiene and Chemical Safety by M.H. Phulekar. This is really a very good book because it's cover almost 75% of our syllabus, and it covers almost all topics of the paper 4, that is 304, and it cost merely 250 rupees to 200 to 250 rupees. So if you are not possible, if it is not possible for you to buy it, only go through it. So it is only 2 to 3 copies is available in the library, so you can issue it and refer through the books and then circulate your notes. Now coming up to the topic, that is physical airborne contaminants. So the chemical used or produced in the industrial operations, the chemical which are used or produced in the industrial operation, generally they used to liberate certain particles in the air in the form of dust, fumes, smoke, mist and vapor. So while operations, and they used to liberate certain particles in the atmosphere which are which has various impact on the health. So normally we used to take all these concept as only one term as dust particles, but these terms are different from one another, and the American National Standards Institute, they have defined these terms as follows. So each term is different from one another, and they have given definition of each and every term. So coming up to the next slide, that is dust. So this is the first topic, that is the physical contaminants, that is the dust. So dust includes the solid particles. This normally includes the solid particles, and these are generated by means of handling, crushing, grinding, and certain you can say that cutting of certain organic inorganic materials, or preparation or production of certain organic inorganic materials such as rock, metals, ore, coal, wood. So these are the certain particles or dust particles which liberated in the atmosphere, and they may or may not have the same composition. So they may or may not have the same composition as the parent material, and its size normally they used to vary from 0.1 mu to 0.25 mu. So its size is varies, always keep in mind, it is nothing but the 0.1 mu micron size to 0.25 mu. So its size is almost large in size, and normally it is normally you can say that they are restricted by means of the mucus in the nose. Next, coming up to the next topic, that is said to be fumes. So fumes consisting of the solid particles normally generated by the condensation from the gaseous state. So if any material it is in the gaseous states, the condensation of these gaseous materials will liberate certain particles, that is nothing but the solid particles, and also these solid particles or fumes are liberated after the volatilization of the molten rocks. So after the volatilization of molten rocks, these fumes are liberated, or by means of condensation of the certain gaseous materials, they used to liberate the fumes. And these fumes are very fine. They are much finer than that of the dust, and their size is usually less than 0.1 micron. So we have seen the size of the dust, it was 0.12 micron to 0.25 micron, 0.25 micron, but its size is lesser than that, therefore it is much finer than that of the dust. Some examples, they may be lead, zinc and the cadmium dust fumes. They are normally liberated from the industries. Next topic is the next subtopic is the smoke. So what is the smoke? The smoke is also said to be the soot particles, or it is also said to be the smoke carbon. It is also said to be the smoke carbon, and its size is less than 0.mu size. So it is just like a fume size, so it is less than 0.1 mu in size, and are caused by the incomplete combustion of the materials, carbonaceous material. So any carbonaceous material, incomplete combustion, or when you burn it in insufficient supply of oxygen, then it will liberate these soot particles. So any incomplete combustion of the carbonaceous material will gives you the soot particles, and its size is 0.1 microns or less than that. Such as coal and oils are few examples of the smoke. It contains droplets as well as dry particles. So smoke may be present in the two form, that is it present in the liquid form as well as in the solid form. So if they are present in the form of droplet, then we used to say that it is in the droplet form, liquid form, and if it is present in the dry particles के रूप में अगर वो present है, then we used to say it is present in the solid form. And the size of the particle, normally tobacco smoke. So when someone smoke tobacco, its size normally it is nothing but the 0.25 micron. So sometimes it is asked in the competitive examination, what is the size of the tobacco smoke? Then it is normally 0.25 micron. Next, that is mist. What is mist? Mist is nothing but the suspended liquid droplets. What is mist? It is a suspended liquid droplets generated by condensation from the gaseous to the liquid state. So if any material, it is present in the form of a gas, after the condensation of the gas into the liquid, certain liquid state, certain suspended liquid droplets are generated, and these are said to be the mist. So what is mist? Mist is nothing but it is formed by the condensation of gases into the liquid form. So certain droplets are formed. These droplets are nothing but the mist. For example, for oil mist produced during the cutting or grinding of operations, and acid mist normally formed by the electroplating. Next, coming up to the vapors. What is vapors? So normally these vapors are in the gaseous form. ये vapors जो होते हैं gaseous form में होते हैं, and which normally exist in solid or liquid state. दोनों state में वो exist करते हैं vapors, and can return to their state either by increasing, and they can return to their states either by increasing the pressure or decreasing in temperature. So evaporation, what we can say, evaporation. What is evaporation? It is a process by which a liquid get converted into the gaseous form. or mix with the surrounding atmosphere. So gaseous form, it exists both in the solid or the liquid form, and most of the solvent, for example most of the solvents such as petroleum ether, petroleum ether या फिर डाईइथाइल ether. So these are certain solvents which are having very low boiling point. So which are having very low boiling point, and they used to volatilize very readily. And if some examples such as trichloroethylene, benzene and xylene, these are certain example of certain volatile organic compound, and when they get condensed from the from gases to the liquid phase, then they used to liberate in the form of a vapors. They are present in the atmosphere in the form of a vapors. Next, coming up to the last subtopic, that is the gases. What is gases? The gases are normally they are formless fluid, and that occupies space and can be changed into liquid or solid state by combined effect of increased pressure or decreased temperature. So if what is gases? It is nothing but the formless fluid. What do you mean by formless? It does not have any shape and size. So these are the fluid which does not have any shape and size but occupy the space. And these gases, they can normally change into liquid. Consider water. It is in the liquid form. Consider water vapor. Water vapor. So when we used to increase the temperature of the water, it get converted in the form of water vapor. What is vapor? Vapor is nothing but the liquid droplets which is present in the atmosphere. So if we increase the temperature of water, it get converted into the vapor form, gaseous form, and when we used to decrease the temperature of water by 0 degrees Celsius, then we can say that it get converted into the solid form. So these gases it is formless fluid, but it can occupy the space, and it can change from the solid to liquid state or liquid to solid state when we used to give a certain environmental conditions, that is increase in pressure करते हैं या फिर decrease in temperature करते हैं, तो we can see that there is change in the form. So few examples such as welding gases हो गया, engine exhaust हो गया, gases हो गया, SOx हो गया, NOx हो गया, carbon monoxide हो गया. These are all the example of gases. So normally what are the gases which is present in the atmosphere? That is SOx, NOx, carbon monoxide. These all are the gases form. Next, mode of entry. So these airborne contaminants which is produced by the industry during the production or certain working procedure. So these are normally very dangerous. They are considered to be bad for their health. Or so how they used to enter? They enter in the human body by means of the 3 ways. First one is inhalation, second one is skin absorption, and third one is the ingestion. What do you mean by inhalation? In म्हणजे अंदर, and inhale means by means of respiration. So if they used to enter in our body by means of the respiratory tract, then we used to say that they are inhaled. And if they are absorbed by the skin, then we used to say that they are skin absorption has been taken place. So you know that skin it acts as a barrier in most of the naturally occurring substances. However, penetration through the skin can occur in care of some liquid and dissolved materials. So sometimes they used to enter into our body through the skin. So next one is the ingestion. What do you mean by ingestion? When it enters in our body by means of certain we can say the hazards. These hazards can be created where work hygiene is low standard, very low standard of the work hygiene is maintained. Here it is ingested by means of food, by means of water, etc., etc. So this is normally 3 mode of entry of these airborne contaminants. First one is inhalation. So inhalation, this is the main route of intake of airborne contaminants. So it is the main route of the airborne contaminants, and these chemicals, they are very harmful, and it has very harmful effect as it come contact with the susceptible site or in our body. When it comes in our body, it is very harmful. So the main route of this airborne contaminants is nothing but the inhalation. So it affects the respiratory system, and it acts as a portal or entry into our body for a large variety of such gases, vapors and particulate matter. So it enters a respiratory system when these particulate matter, vapors or particulate matter, when they used to enter our body, then it causes the effects. Normally, when these gases or the vapors, when they used to enter our respiratory system, it is absorbed by the blood, and then they used to circulate in our blood and cause the harm, impact. Regarding the particulate matter, depending on the size, when the particulate matter size is large, then it is trapped by means of the mucus layer or the alveoli. Next is the skin absorption. Skin absorption, this normally, if the contaminants, they are lipid solubility and they have the molecular size, are most important factor. These are the two most important factor for the skin absorption. First one is lipid solubility and second was the molecular size are the important factor. So that high lipid solubility and small size, hence penetration through the skin. If the size of the particles is very small, then they used to penetrate our skin, and if the lipid solubility is very high, they used to penetrate our skin. And sometimes abrasion and irritation, they used to encourage the entry. Next is the ingestion. Ingestion means where in case of the workplace where the hygiene is not maintained or the work hygiene is very low standard, here the ingestion of the toxic materials may result from the contaminated food, and also the toxic substances, certain beverages, by means of putting fingers or the contaminated objects into the mouth. So if you put sometimes the contaminated fingers or certain objects in your mouth, then you used to ingested, and these contaminants are enters into our body. So I would like you to go through certain slides. So these are the air contaminants, airborne contaminants. So these are the how to wear the PPE equipments. So we have to cover the whole part of the body while handling the airborne contaminants, right from the head to the toe, gloves, gauntlets, body equipments, mask, glasswares, everything. Next is so these airborne contaminants, they used to enter our body by three ways, you know it. These are certain airborne contaminants which is present in the air. These are the organisms which is present in the air. Corona is one of the again airborne contaminants which is present in the air. Wherever you can find out a corona positive. So while fumigation, we have to take all these measures and then we have to fumigate it. So while applying the pesticide or fertilizer, we have to consider all these protective equipments and then we have to apply it. This is the way we must do it during the working place. This should be considered. So these are the airborne contaminants, organisms which is present in the atmosphere. So these are the different protective equipments parts which are assembled and they form the personal protective equipments in order to handle the airborne contaminants. Thank you for watching, or see you tomorrow. As tomorrow is a holiday, see you on Monday.